This week on My Life in Rambles, we got bringing it back. I got a good friend, Jay Hollingsworth, coming in to talk to us about stand-up science, new living, and also loving Las Vegas. So glad you guys showed up, and you're in for a treat. And yeah, that's it. Let's go. Let's bring them on.
I heard the news.
Yeah. I proposed.
I she knows she got to play it for life.
Dude, that's what she said. She was like, she was like, I don't know, man. You're a player for life. And I was like, you're tripping. I was like, what are you talking about? Like, no, I love you. And it's crazy too, man. Cause, I got really lucky, with, finding a ring and finding all this stuff. And she really liked it. She was really like flipping out, and she's still flipping out. Like I did it 2 days ago, and she's still flipping out.
Yeah, and then she called Angel, and now I get to hear about that. You know, they got engaged.
And they've only been together for like 3 years.
No, but we'll probably never get married. Me and Angel. It's all right though. I mean, you know, like certain stuff with insurance and, you know, some of my weaseling maneuvers. I got to be single. I can't be.
Yeah.
She knows. But how did you propose?
What did I do? What happened was I was on the road this past 2 weeks, and I was going into I was on the road past 2 weeks. I was trying to sell the shirts to make up money for the ring, and so
you were already, it was in your head, you were going to do it.
Yeah. It's been we talked about it for a while, like, you know, like, and you know, nothing big, nothing crazy, just nothing extravagant, just kind of like, you know, we want to do it just and do it, and so I bought the ring. She didn't know I bought the ring, and I bought it like in the Bay Area. And so I had it on me, and I was scared as shit because Bay Area is terrible now. So I didn't leave it in the car.
You're taking it on stage,
everywhere. And then so, you know, I have all the merchandise, the shirts I'm selling, and I was like, yeah, let me hawk these even harder. And I was like, I'm gonna tell them, hey, you guys, you know, gonna propose to my girl. At the end of the set, I go, I'm gonna propose to my girl. So if you don't like the joke, you know, buy it for love, because it's jokes on the shirt. And so I sold out of my shirts, all of my shirts. I even had to get a second order.
I'm just gonna start saying that. Yeah, dude. You should do that from now until you die.
Yeah,
every
that's
time.
The move.
Like, guys, I've been with my girl now going on 30 years. I just want to really get this ring.
Dude, it was a trip. And then but I forgot. She wanted to see the video of the set.
Excuse me. Yeah.
So she wanted, because I've been working
on. Wait, she wanted to see what?
The video of the set, because I recorded it.
Oh, of this?
Of this past weekend.
Oh, gotcha.
She wanted to see that, and she was like, I want to watch your set. And I was like, cool, because I don't want to watch it. You tell me what, because I've been working on a lot of stuff that like involves her too. Like some of the things, like I have this one. That's the thing too. I wanted to have you on too, because the stand-up science, and we love talking about the So it was this joke I've been working out, and you know. But at the end of the set, it said, I go, hey you guys, I'm proposing to my girlfriend in 2 weeks, and I went and rushed and pressed pause, and I was like, never mind.
Oh,
and she goes, what was that? And she heard me and thought I said, I'm going to propose to you guys to buy this shirt.
Oh.
That's what she thought. That's later on when I found out what she thought. But I go, she's really good at watching shit and figuring out. I can't watch like scary movies, or I can't watch detective movies with her, because she'll figure it out and yell it out. And I don't like to theorize. I'm just like, let me be in it.
Right.
And so she likes to theorize. She likes to figure it out. And I'm like, fuck, she's going to figure this out. It's going to click. So I went to the car and I went and grabbed it, and then we were at the house, and she was in the backyard, and she was throwing the ball with Cooper, and her daughter was out in the backyard too. I don't know why, and I was like, oh, this is kind of perfect actually. So I got the camera, I set it up, you know, to look directly into the backyard, and then I go, hey, throw him the ball again. Oh, God, he dropped. She's like, yeah, let me show you. I taught him how to drop it, because he never drops it. So she got it, she throws it, and then when she turns around, I'm on my knee.
Oh shit!
And she was like, oh. She was like, what the fuck? Yeah, I have the video of her, like, she doesn't even, in the video, she doesn't say yes. It's just, it's a bunch of
all this time, and you're like,
yeah.
and then you get up and there's dog shit on your knee from Cooper.
Yeah, she doesn't say it. She keeps saying, no, shut the fuck up, no, and then finally she like hugs me and she starts crying and stuff like that, and then her daughter too, and then so it was a really cool moment, and it was cool because like I thought about it, and we're in. I'm just waking up. I just drove from Sacramento to Vegas the same night. Like I'm still haven't slept.
You're still. By the way, let me pause for a second. Don't forget where you're at in the story.
Yeah.
I don't. Are you? I'm at the age now where I think my driving limit is about 5 hours.
Dude, you're at 5. I'm at I'm at
isn't
8.
Sax like 8, right?
Yeah, I'm at 8 right now. Like, because I remember when I drove from Seattle back to Sacramento one year, it's a 15-hour drive, and I was like, I can't do double digits anymore. And so it's been under 10. But now it's gotten to 8. And it's real fucking. It's a mental fuck.
You'll be there at the 6 and 5, dude. I did Elko, Elko, Nevada, which I'd never been to before. It's
I've been there in years.
It's like the place that time forgot.
Yeah.
And I'd never been there, and I'm like talking to one of the comics, and he's like, "Oh yeah, they." I'm like, "How do they make their money here?" And he goes, "Oh, they mine." And being dumb, I was like, coal?
No,
he goes, no, gold. He's like, gold. It's one of the biggest gold, whatever. And the day before I was supposed to, because I was going to drive it, and then the day before I was like, fuck, I don't want to do this 6 hours. Fuck this. So I just got a flight. And dude, I mean, and it in the grand scheme of things is probably about the same time, but I flew into Salt Lake City, got a rental, and then drove to Elko, which is like a 2.5 hour drive.
Yeah.
But I was like, I don't want to fucking do this long. Like 4 and 5 is about. I'm already bringing it down. By the end of this podcast, I'll be like an hour.
I don't even
like this driving here was a struggle.
Dude, you ain't lying though, man. I started to get, especially in traffic, and just irritate. It's just irritating. But yeah, I had to. I downloaded.
So you drove a bunch.
I drove a bunch. I as soon, and that's the thing too. I just got done doing 2 shows. I as soon as I did 2 shows, sold the shirts, said bye to everybody. You know, I went to the bank, and then because I didn't want to have any cash on me on the road like that. So, and I drove all the way straight down here. I stopped only one time. I was very proud of myself just to get gas. And then
you're doing that at night?
I'm doing it at night. Yeah.
Fuck all of that. Dude, fuck, man. I'm like 1 hour during the day is enough for me. I'm like, at night is the worst because you're just like zoning out and shit like that.
For me, I love the night because it's like there's for me, every time I hit like at 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock, the drunk hours, I'm in the desert by that time, or I'm in like deep. So I'm not in any city, so I could just fly. And
you podcast? You listen to podcasts?
I listen to podcasts, and I Libby is D. Tyler's a comedian that from Sacramento told me check out Libby, and Libby is an app that it's connected to the libraries. So they have unlimited audio.
Did you say libraries?
Libraries. Did I say well?
You said libraries. And then if you get in an accident, you call it ambulance.
An ambulance.
Yeah. Sorry. It's connected to libraries, Libby. All right.
Yeah. So they have a whole bunch. It's all free audiobooks.
Oh shit.
And so I listened to Ready Player One because I hear the book is way better than. And I got probably chapter 5 or 6. But there's been a lot. I listened to this other book about serial killers. The dude that did Mindhunters. I listened to that.
Oh,
it was really good. Yeah, both. I listened to both of his. He has a couple of them. One's called Killer Across the Table, and that's the one that's more like Mindhunters, the TV show. And then I also listened to Mindhunters, the book that he had. And that one, it's more of just like him coming up through the rankings and wanting and becoming the profiler, as opposed to like the other one. I guess you could say it's a mesh of both of them for the TV show, because I really want the third season to come back.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I love it. And I realize I keep cutting you off, and like we get sidetracked. But you were saying you had proposed to her, you had been driving, you're not on a lot of sleep. And she kept saying, "No fucking way, fuck off, no fucking way," all that.
Yeah, and it was like, and I was like, "No, this is serious. I'm for real." And she was like, "Oh my god, are you?" And then she her and her daughter were crying a lot, and it's such an interesting thing to like. like our job is to make people happy.
Yeah.
Because we make them with laughter and shit like that. So, but to make someone happy and overjoyed, just like crying and like, and I'm not good with women crying. Like I have malfunction. I don't know what to do.
I don't know what to do with that. I'm just like,
yeah,
fuck. Like, let me talk to me when you get that shit figured out.
I'm gonna go.
I just fucking, instead of being like, oh, come here, babe, I'm like, fuck, go take a bath or something.
You know what?
Wipe that shit off.
I'm a little hungry. I'm gonna grab something in the kitchen while you handle your shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm not good. So I'm like, and then on top of that, they're not even sad. They're happy. And I'm like, well, I'm gonna hop on the sticks real quick. I'm gonna play COD. If you guys want to jump on, you guys can. But that was the thing too, like our celebration, because she's great, and we're good together. So it's like I was like, do we go out to dinner? What do you want to do? And she was like, can we go to a pizza and play COD like all day? She was like, I'm gonna hit everybody up, and I was like, let's do it. And I was like, that's exactly what I'd love to do,
dude. That's on Valentine's Day. It's like, I think most guys, we don't give a fuck about Valentine's Day whatsoever.
Would you do, George? You do anything, George?
No, I actually, her dad's birthday's on Valentine's Day, so I didn't even have to pay for dinner this year. We just went out to dinner with them. It's
but like if it was up to you and your girl's like, do you want to, whatever you want to do for Valentine's Day, would you, or would you just be like, yeah, I don't give a fuck. This is literally all for you.
I actually didn't buy her anything except for flowers off the side of the fucking freeway before I got home. I was shocked that they were $10. I was like, such a great.
I thought they were gonna upcharge that price.
Yeah,
gouge. But
no, seriously, no. They needed the money.
Well, dude, for Valentine's Day this year, I was getting over, like, I got COVID, which I didn't even know I had COVID. I thought it was just a cold. It wasn't that major, but I had that, and then I got a cold after that, just a small cold. So I was sick and everything, but it's like, your girl, you want to be like, well, and so I was kind of like, what do you, do you want, what are you thinking? To open that shit. And she's like, I'm good with we could like order some Chinese and just smoke and watch movies. I was like, that's why you're the perfect girl for me. I was like, I love you more today than I ever have before. And that's what we did. We didn't do shit for Valentine's Day. I was like, this is perfect. Mm-hmm. And then I haven't seen or been to your new place. I haven't seen you since you got the new place. Yeah,
we moved out of the spot that we all were lived in.
Yeah.
We all lived in the same apartment complex and had to get out of there, man. I was telling someone the other day, I was like, yeah, I go, now that I have, Amber and her daughter and, I'm walking Coop, and I'm like, and that's when it hit me. I was like, dude, I need to get him out of here, man. They can't, Coop's an English bulldog. He's an expensive dog. Yours is an expensive dog. I was like, man, they can't even walk this dog. Someone's going to rob him. Yeah. And fuck them up. And I go, nah, that's fucked up. And then I'm walking this dog at night and I'm like, what the fuck am I doing out here?
Right, yeah.
I was like, they're gonna rob and kill me.
Yeah, that's what we used to talk about. I'm like, we have like crackhead security during the day where they'll just, our apartment, Carlos and I, and along with like 3 other comics, lived in this complex called the Diplomat. Mm-hmm. And I guess it was where the Rat Pack stored their whores, or excuse me, their mistresses, side bitches back in the day, back in the day, but now it's like, you got, like, you fucking have homeless people that are outside the gate, you've seen that where like I've gone out to my car and there'll be just some fucking tweaker like laying down behind my car.
Yeah.
And I'm like, bro, what the fuck? And it's not a.
It would just people. Like in the middle of the night, I would get woken up because people were just yelling or just random shit all the time. People fighting. There's always car accidents in the front. People would get pulled over constantly and come into our parking lot, and then I'd be watching a movie in the living room, and then all of a sudden I could see on the wall, like,
the lights,
the police lights. Yeah. I'm like, what the fuck's going on?
You're like, I don't have Govee lights.
Yeah,
but and then the management there are like, they rent out the parking spaces.
Yeah,
because we were across the street from the convention center, so they would just rent out our parking for people that are going to the convention center. And then you're like, bro, where the fuck do I park? And they're like, oh, you can park on the street. I'm like, I don't pay fucking rent to park on the goddamn street.
Dude, they raised the rent again. Like they kept raising the rent every year.
I think they want to turn all of them to Airbnbs. I bet.
I probably, but I was like, dude, and then it was really hard. Did you get all your deposit back?
Yeah.
Dude, you lucky fuck. I didn't get my deposit back.
Well, because did you talk to Kyle before?
I tried to talk to Kyle. I hit him up and I was like, hey, and he was like, yeah, I'll help you out. And I was like, all right, cool. And then I had him pull the TV, the wall mount off the wall.
Oh yeah.
And he like busted a lot of shit. But they lied. They hella lied on us because we cleaned the fuck out. That thing was clean. And they were like, it took 2 days to fucking clean the bathroom. It was fucking. So I was like, oh, they did some brushing up and shit like that.
Dude, I'm trying to think if I had anybody come in and clean it. I don't think I did. I cleaned it out, and then there was certain stuff like that Kyle, I was like, yeah, fuck, I don't know, do that. He's like, I'll fix it. I'll make it look nice. So I was like, yeah, great. And so Kyle hooked me up. Shout out to Kyle. Not the diplomat if they hear this. He fucking gets fired. But yeah, I got the whole deposit back. I was like, yes. One last fucking they didn't give me, which is great.
Yeah, and then you got your packages stolen a lot too off the steps. And
we lived in a fucking... I mean, for what it was during quarantine or COVID, I moved there and it was cool. And like when you moved there, it was cool to get in quick. And it was, and when we first moved in, it wasn't that bad. Like the pricing. Yeah,
the pricing wasn't bad at all. And then it was like, whoa, what the fuck? Like I'm paying. I was like, if I'm paying this, I might as well pay an extra $100 and get a yard and and a driveway and a garage.
Did you buy the house?
No, I'm gonna though. I want to buy it.
The house that you're in.
That I'm in. Yeah, because I think it's a. I looked it up and it's a like possible rent to own. And I was like, all right, cool. So boom. But yeah, no. And then your place, you bought a new place.
Yes.
And took off. How are you liking that? Being a homeowner now.
It's great. I love the place. I don't want to go on the road.
Yeah.
It's like if I can get shit in Vegas all the time, great. But people say this all the time. It's never, and I'm sure you're experiencing it now. Mm. Whatever it is never done. There's dude, and fucking Angel, she has she said the other day, within the next 3 years, she wants to put doors to the outside from our bedroom. Uh-huh. And I'm like, where are we getting doors from the outside money? What the fuck is, you're going to just, shit in one hand and wish in the other, but she'll have like all these ideas of things she wants to do, but then, or even if it's a project she's doing, but I end up doing it. Mm-hmm. Like she's like, oh, I'm going to trim the trees. And I was like, okay, cool. So she busted her ass and trimmed all these trees. And then about half of it she put in bags. And then the rest just sat in the yard for months. And then I finally just cleaned it up like last week. But that shit drives me nuts.
Yeah, there's a tons of
are you guys all moved in?
We're all moved in, but there's the garage that needs to be taken care of. And
we're not.
I no, seriously.
Well, no. Let me rephrase that. I am.
Yeah,
dude. We have the office / podcast room. It looks like a Office Max exploded. Like she won't. And it drives me nuts because I'm like, let's get this shit done. And I remember she said, like 4 months ago, she was like, it takes people like 8 months to fully move in. I'm like, fucking what? Invalids? What do you?
Yeah, but I think that's a woman calendar because like I'm already done. I'm done, and that was same thing. Like, dude, I went the garage when I got home, and then yesterday I did it. I organized it all, and I was like, and I sent Amber a video. I go, hey, so. These are all your boxes, and this is my shit right there. There's two things, and it's like that microwave needs to be thrown away, which is getting done right now, and that is this shelf that I had. And I go, this is all your guys' boxes. I need at one weekend you guys go through one row and throw it away. And that's another thing too. I condense boxes. They had more boxes, and I was like, dude, okay, all right, hold on.
Yeah, this is just gonna be a bitch fest. This episode.
Well, Amber got sick during the move. Yeah. She got the flu. And as soon as she said she got...
Smart, Amber. Good excuse.
Yeah. As soon as she got the flu, I go, fuck. I'm gonna get it too, and I need to hurry up and move this whole house before I get it and I can't move. Cause like, dude, I'm the biggest bitch when it comes to getting sick. I'm the baby. Like
It's not just when you're sick. no. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, no, for real. And I was like, so I started moving everything, all the boxes. They had already packed everything. I was on the road, so good thing they packed everything in boxes. So I'm going up and down the stairs by myself, loading both cars, taking it here, unloading it. And then
why didn't you hire some of your cousins?
I ended up having to hire some fools. They're not out here though.
Oh fuck.
Yeah. And then so I was like, I go fucking went all over there, did that, and I was and then after a while when we started opening up these boxes, I was like, we didn't need to bring this. We didn't need to bring that. We didn't need to bring this. I busted my ass going up and down those goddamn stairs for at least 7 or 8 boxes that didn't even need to come.
It's just a box of weights that are all rusted.
Yeah. No, like it was stupid shit. Like there'd be a box of blankets and there'd be like 2 blankets in there. And I'm like, you could have put other shit inside here. This is just this was a whole trip.
Right.
A whole up and down fucking stairs. Oh, I'm upset about it. My knee gave out and shit.
And how many floors is your house?
Well, now when I brought it in. Gotcha. Yeah. But when we moved out, we were
upstairs. You have 1 floor?
Yeah. Just
dude. How great is it?
Yeah, the ranch.
Dude, when I was looking at a house, at houses, I specifically wanted something 1 floor because I remember, and I don't know if I'll have this house till the day I die, but I remember my dad had this huge house. It was like, I think like maybe 5 bedrooms, but it had upstairs, and his bedroom was upstairs, and I just remember seeing him as an old man, a bum knee, going up those stairs and coming back down, and I was like, fuck that. I'm never going to deal with that. So I just want 1 level, and I love it. I love
George's dad played for the Patriots.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
was split end. Yeah, I don't know how, he didn't talk about it much because I think his career didn't go as best, could have.
As he wanted.
Yeah, but I got his contract. It was like 11,500 for 1 year.
Jesus.
Back in like 61 or 62.
God damn.
Damn, yeah. That's crazy. And,
definitely doesn't afford a single story.
Yeah.
I was gonna say too, it's hella funny because so you're talking about Angel and she's awesome, and it's funny because we're talking because you do a bombing podcast.
Yes.
Yeah.
Boo.
Boo. Yeah.
Fucking boo. Yeah.
And your first date, I was there.
Oh, yeah. You know what's crazy is like when we're telling people the story about our first date, which I'll tell you here in a sec. Thousands of listeners. Well, so we met through online dating, Hinge app or whatever, and she so she was going to come to a show and we were going to hang out or whatever, and the show was a cancer benefit for our buddy Spiro's now she's passed away, but his wife who had cancer. That'd be weird if it was a cancer benefit and she doesn't have cancer. Sorry. Can't turn it off, guys. Sorry. And this show was a cancer. It was fucking awful. It was it was 2 shows, right?
2. We had to do 2. Yes.
Yeah, and and one of them was just, I think it was just all us comics, and then the other one there was like somebody that worked at Cirque du Soleil that was like an acrobat or some shit in the front row. The lady. Anyways, it wasn't a good show, and like all of us kind of just went up and we're just like talked about how horrible this was. I said it was. We in the years to come we would talk about that show like Vietnam vets talked about Vietnam.
Yeah,
like man, we've been through some shit together. But when I tell people, if I'm telling the story, I'm like, yeah, our first date, she came to the show and it was a fucking awful show and it was horrible. And she's like, I didn't think it was that bad. And I'm like, well, you're the one.
Yeah. Dude, I was just, and then I had to go last, and I was just like, this is terrible. And then it was so bad. No one was listening. People were walking in and out. And someone delivered a pizza at one point. It was so bad. And the thing about it was too is like the whole it's funny. It was, what was it at? The Raven Club or
some place. All I know is it's across from Denny's.
It felt like the room looked like it was inside of a barrel, like a wooden barrel, and it was not.
just a shit show.
That was so funny. I remember going up and being like, I turned to Angel and I was like, "Hey, don't judge him off this set."
Yeah, that's right. I remember.
I was like,
still bang him tonight.
Still bang. Yeah. He's a great comedian.
Yeah.
Go, all right, thank you, sir.
Oh, thanks.
Right on.
Yeah, I'm killing the water. Thank you, sir. Yeah, and then we've been together since, for the most part. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, her daughter's staying with us right now, Amari,
Mm-hmm.
and she's she models in LA, but she's thinking about moving out here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I love Vegas.
Dude, it's awesome. It's
Did you? I think you posted a picture too. Didn't you post a picture of like the Vegas skyline and you said something like "my city"?
No, that wasn't me.
you.
No,
Fuck.
no.
Somebody did, and I was, but yeah, growing up, I mean, you know, I've lost a lot of weight now, but growing up, I always hated the heat because I was a fat fuck. So I would just, you know, it'd be like 70 degrees. It's hot as fuck. I'm sweating my ass off. But so at any point, if you ever said, "Oh, you'll move to Vegas and you'll love it," I'd be like, "You're out of your fucking mind." But I love it. It's you have anything you want to do, you can find a version of it here in Vegas. You know, it's we don't live on the strips now, so it's I love Vegas. It's great.
I do too. It's got a nice hometown feel to it, and it's just very chill. And yeah, when I first got out here, it was very like it was fun, man. It was fun to be in that apartment complex. So for like, you know, like the college years, I guess.
Yeah,
you could say.
it was like,
it's like a dorm. It was like there was 8 comics at one point altogether in that fucking thing.
7 comics, and then there was a guy, Ty Rivera, but there were 7 comics living there, and then some dude named Ty Rivera.
So you were asking me about the bomb, like, you know, because you're like, do the fucking boo, you know?
Oh yeah, are we doing that right now?
Fuck it, I guess we'll just simulcast.
Well, I put this as yeah, is that what they call it?
Yeah, simulcast.
All right, so do I do my intro for Boo?
Do it.
Send you a link and you put it up here? Fucking no, we'll do a different one because
okay.
But what's this bombing?
No, story? I totally so I was like trying to put in like what's my worst bomb, and I was like trying to figure it out because like I had so many. Which one's the worst? But I went on Facebook because you know you could just put in. You know, anything, a phrase, and it'll bring up everything that you said about that. And so I put bombed, and so I read this. I go on June 23rd, 2017. I once bombed so hard I threw away the shoes and the shirt I wore on stage.
Did you?
Yeah, I think I did. I think it was as I'm reading the comments, it's people are asking what was it? I was like, it was a short sleeve flannel shirt. So, and I think it was some Jordans, these like off brand like jump.
Do you remember the bomb? Like what it was, or
that's
the
the
show?
thing though. I can't remember that bomb.
Well, see, that's why it's good we didn't do it right now because you have to have a story. You got to tell me the whole story, how you felt, and what you could have done differently. It's it's a trip too. Like when you do a show where in your head you're like, God, I fucking ate a fat dick on that set, and then you get done and people are like, oh, that was great. That was great.
Yeah.
I mean, like everybody loved the show, and you're like, what the fuck? But like. You didn't feel like you got really big pops during the set, and you're in your head you're like, oh, this was a horrible show, but people love it,
dude. This is so funny when you bringing this up because over this weekend I was doing the Punchline in Sacramento, and I went up and I was doing the set, and you know the other shows I had, I felt they were really way better and way stronger, and so I get done and. We're doing it shotgun style. So I'm bringing up the headliner because I'm the feature at this one. And I go, all right, you guys, that's my time. And I grab the microphone stand and I'm looking down. And in my head, I'm thinking, fuck, man, that just wasn't where I wanted it. That just wasn't, I was like, that I'm already thinking about what I fucked up, what I should have said, you know, tone here, tone there. And I'm putting the microphone back in the thing and they're clapping and they're still clapping. And I go to introduce the next comic. And then all of a sudden they get louder and clap even more and more and more. And like they were like it was like, oh,
maybe they were
shit.
just like, yes, he's leaving.
He's fucking off.
Yes.
But I was like, oh fuck. And I go, all right, huh? And I was like, yeah, you guys like, they're like, yeah. And I go, you guys are not gonna like for real serious. I even told them, I go, right now, as I was bringing the mic, looking down in my head, I'm like, fuck, this set sucked. I hate myself. I want to fucking kill myself.
Yeah.
Once I go to the back, like, and then even the comics were laughing. They're like, dude, dude, but it was a good set. And I was like, I don't think it was. I don't feel like
it's so crazy. Like when you just, you for whatever reason, you just don't get a vibe off the audience. And then they're like, for whatever, you know, they love it. I did, it's funny. I did, Laughs in Tucson.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you. Yeah. Have you ever done that?
I just did it for the first time. Probably about a month ago. Great club, and every show was packed. But leading up to it, and I get it. Casey, shout out to Casey, who's the manager and owner. But Casey's, I guess, the son, and I met the dad who ran the club and owned the club for the longest. And Casey, I get that Casey, it's his family's business.
Yeah.
And he wants to make sure he does a good job and everything. But he's I don't want to say overly nervous, but when he booked me, he asked, because a lot of people vouched for me to get me in there.
I asked for you to, because I had to go and feature to get the headlining spot, and then so I asked if I could bring you when I come, because So I don't know, that has probably about 4 or 5 months ago, but that's awesome that you got okay.
And so, people kept vouching, and he asked if he could see a full set. So I sent him a set, I think from LA Comedy Club. And I think it was like 35 minutes or whatever. But he was like, okay, great. I think this will be good. And he was telling me how like they have like an older demographic on some of the early shows. And he's like, I don't want to tell you like what material or anything like that, but he's like, raunchy doesn't do really well. And I'm like, I'm not really raunchy. And he was like, and if you could just cut down on the fucks or whatever. And I'm like, well, we'll see. But no, I didn't. But I told him, I was like, yeah. But
he's like, why don't you do it? Why don't you do the stand up?
Yeah, no. But I actually, he was cool. I just did my set. I didn't change anything with swearing or anything. And it was great. And it's my favorite stuff I'm doing right now. I have like a good, I'd say like 10 to 15 minutes all about my parents dying. And but it's doing great. And it's my favorite shit that I'm doing, all of my stuff right now. And then also all the stuff about losing weight. And I haven't figured this out on stage yet, but it's interesting because I haven't seen you like face to face. It's been a minute, right?
Yeah, it's been about what?
So when you visited the house?
Yeah.
Was it? Okay. Yeah. So it's been like a month or two. Yeah. Oh shit. It's been a few months. Yeah. Fuck. All right. Yeah. So, but what's a trip is, I think I told you about this, how like the fellow, I'm a former fat, but I consider myself one of the fats, but my fellow fats are the least supportive of my weight loss.
Oh yeah.
Like they fucking talk shit. I told you about like Todd Royce and Mary, like, so I was hanging out. So for if you don't know me, or which is probably everybody, I lost like 140 pounds. I had gastric sleeve surgery. Cool, whatever.
And Roger says you cheated.
Yeah, well, I say that. I say on stage, I go, I lost 140 pounds, and I say that people. The next question is like, well, what's the secret? How'd you do it?
Roger's
and I go, oh, well, it's a lot of hard work. Like I had to get insurance and surgery, so I really put in the work, guys. But yeah, I mean, hey, yeah, fucking
Look
Roger.
at Roger.
Fuck Roger. I'm the one that tipped him off on tracksuits, and now they're like cracked to him.
Yeah.
But yeah, Todd and Mary, I was hanging out. I probably had lost about 100 pounds at this point, and I was hanging out with Todd and Mary, who are, we'll say, our fellow fats, because they are. And I said something Todd said something, and I couldn't hear him, and I go, what? And he was like, oh, what, they cut your hearing out when they cut your stomach out? And I just go, no, I just don't speak fat anymore. And then Todd said something like, oh yeah, you can't do fat jokes anymore. And then Mary looks at me, and she's, giving shit, which I'm all for. We banter and talk shit.
Mary Upchurch, right?
Yeah, she looks me up and down. She goes, oh no, he can still use them. And then I looked at her and I go, well, I can give them to you if you want, Mary. And then she shut the fuck up. But what I've noticed since losing weight is, so when you're fat and you, like, I haven't changed my sense of humor. I'm a smart ass. I've always been a ball buster. We all have.
Yeah.
When you're fat and you're a ball buster, people are like, he's just the fun fat guy. And then if you do the same shit when you lose weight, now people are like, this guy's a fucking prick. What an asshole.
What a dick.
And I'm like, I'm the same fucking asshole I was before. But I think when you're fat and you rip on somebody, people, they'll just be like, oh man, he's got his own shit he's dealing with.
It's a defense mechanism.
Yeah, exactly. He's just, but now people are like, Jesus, what a fucking dick.
This guy. Yeah, no, the great thing you're talking about, like doing the jokes about the dead parents and stuff like that, dude. It's such a crazy thing because like the things like the degree of difficulty to get to a joke is the best, and like when it works.
Yes,
because I was working on like it's funny. I have a joke about kidnapping, and you would think like, what the fuck? How would you find that fun? Right. And it's like. That's the point, that to get to there, to write it so well, to figure it out so masterfully, to get to a point where it's like, and then this one I'm working on, it's about active shooters, but it's like, and it's because the reason why it's because my girlfriend, or with Amber, my fiance. I'm not even going to do the joke justice, but the premise was because it really actually happened. Like we went to the movies to go see. This is when Batman came out. And we're going up to our seats, and I usually go to the back row, but not anymore. I'm like, I don't go in the back row no more. So I get up to like about maybe 4 or 5 rows up, and I go, hold on, and I go look over the side, and she looks over the side. She was like, why you want me to do that for? And I just look, and so she looks. And then she goes, what? And I go, do you think you can make that?
Oh, the jump?
Yeah, do you think you can make the jump? And she was like, why? Do you want me to, like what for? And I was like, just in case some shit goes down, I need you to already be mentally prepared. Like, I got to make this. I don't want you to see it and be like, oh, fuck, I go, every second you waste is a second I get shot.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and, like, I already thought about this. I go, I'm not trying like to be a hero, but I don't want to tell your parents like why I left you. Like, bitch, you took too long. But it's just like I'm working more of it out and stuff like that. But it was. I
don't want to be a hero, but I also don't want to be a sacrifice.
Yeah.
I don't want to be a human shield either.
So it's fun because it's like, dude. Because it was an actual conversation we really had. It was trying to be funny, but it's something serious, but it's something also too in the funny part of it.
And it is true about the best feeling is seeing somebody that's like either like covering their face or like shaking their head or trying to hide that they're laughing.
Yeah,
but they're laughing.
Yeah,
and they can't stop because it means it's undeniable.
Yeah,
and like it's my buddy Kane. Kane, our buddy Kane Holloway. Gave me. I would do a joke about my pops passing. The story about him writing me the check for Christmas. That story.
Oh yeah.
And then he's like, "Don't cash it," and I'm like, "Well, that's a fucking weird Christmas gift." But I would tell all that, and then I get done telling that joke. And the way I set that up is before that, I tell the thing and I go, yeah, my dad said this. People laugh, and I go, yeah, my pops, he passed away last year. He was like 85, 90, blah, 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 right? I go into this joke about, and then at the end of the joke, I'll say, I'll go, yeah, that's for you, Dad. I point to and everybody starts immediately. I point to the sky, and they'll be like, oh, and then I go, or there, and I point down below, wherever the fuck you're at.
Yeah.
And people immediately like, whoa. And then Kane because I couldn't figure out how to transition from talking about my pop's death and then my mom's death because it almost felt like, Jesus, this is just death nonstop. But Kane gave me a great tag where I say, after I talk about the pops dying, I go, yeah, and when my dad died, it was really difficult talking to my mom about him passing away because she had died the year before. And then people laugh, and I go, yeah, she didn't really have much to say. And then as I start the joke, all the stories about my mom, because the whole experience, death is just, there's all these emotions you go through. There's sadness, there is some beauty in it, there's comedy, all that. And as I start getting into the stuff about my mom, and I start you're given like little soft jokes, and I hit one joke, and I know I can lose people at this point, and so I think I've told you before, I always call them back pocket jokes. Like if you're in telling a story or telling jokes, and you know that you may lose the audience, if you have a back pocket joke to get them back on board, and then you're good the rest of the joke, and so. As I'm telling this story about my mom passing, if I feel like I'm starting to lose them, I'll go, look, I ran these jokes by my mom. She laughed. So if you guys don't laugh, then she died for nothing. And then they fucking boom, they laugh, and then they're back on board. And then I go, into all of the stuff. And I love all the shit about the death stuff, which is, it's such a weird thing as a comic to be like, I love the death shit, man.
I love that my parents died.
Yeah.
So
Dude.
It's it was been fun, man, too, because like I was on stage having a blast because besides that one, I was mad because I was in this like nice little spot where I was kind of just like, just talking.
Yeah.
And it was hitting. Boom, boom, boom. I like when you get to the point where it's like you're super comfortable and facial expressions are getting laughs, gestures, pauses, and like everything. It was boom, boom, boom. And then that's where I was at this weekend, and I was having a blast and writing more and more and getting way more comfortable with a lot of topics that people will get uncomfortable. Because the whole thing too that I like is the building of the tension.
Yes.
And then the releasing of the tension.
Yeah.
Once you release it, they're like, oh my God, I did not know where you were going with that.
Yeah.
But now that you said that, that's so funny. Like you said, they put their head down on the
that's the best is when you just see people just going, Jesus
they're like,
Christ,
why
but they're like dying laughing.
Yeah.
It's the best. And did I tell this in the story about my mom dying because it happened, but it's just, I don't really have a punchline at the end of it. It's more of like me reacting to the insanity of this. Mm-hmm. But I just want to know if I had did I tell you about the chaplain and what he said to my family?
No.
This is the fucking George, right?
Yes.
This is the fucking craziest thing. And I'm just going to tell it on here. And I'm not telling this in joke form. I'm not embellishing or adding anything. So to just set the scene, my mom, she at this point, she's gone, I guess, spiritually. Or she's still alive, but she's not there mentally. She's just looking at the ceiling, and she's doing a rhythmic moaning thing all day until she passes away at night. She's just going, all this, right? So at about 2:00, this young chaplain comes to the house, and I say in the joke, I'm like, I don't know if this was his first death gig, but he comes in, and first he's talking to my mom, he's caressing her hair, and he's like, it's okay, Joan, it's okay. She's fucking gone already mentally, and the whole family's around the bed. Now he's still caressing her hair, but now he's talking to all of us, the family, and then this is what he says. He goes, okay, family, so what your mom's doing right now, this is what's called actively dying, which will then be followed by what's called a death rattle, and then she'll pass. And then he says, but keep giving her encouraging words, guys, because she can still hear you. And I was like, so she just fucking heard everything you just said? You fucking psycho, man. I'm like, why don't you? Like I said, I got to get a punchline for that. But in the thing, I'm just like, you fucking, I'm like, why don't you just whisper in her ear? You're ticking down, bitch. It's so crazy that you would say that shit right in front of somebody.
Followed by a death scream.
Yeah.
But that's silent in her head.
And death rattle is such like an aggressive. I'm like, can we like soften that? Like, oh, she'll have a little death shimmy.
You'll hear her spirit leave through her vocal cords.
Dude, it was the wildest thing. And I haven't, and I like the only time that joke has not, like that whole chunk has not done good is I was doing a gig for Kathleen Dunbar, and there was
Kathleen.
A couple.
She's so funny.
Oh, she's the best. Fucking Kathleen Dunbar. I call her Cuntleen, but she likes it. She's an old crotchety bitch.
Yeah.
I love her. I say that in the best way. I couldn't love her more.
Yeah.
Fuck, what was I saying? I was doing one of her gigs, and there was a couple, husband and wife, and the husband, all the death shit, loved it. His wife was kind of like shaking her head, and she eventually left or walked out. And afterwards, I was talking to the husband, and he was like, dude, I loved it, but my wife, she's a hospice nurse. So I'm like, well, it wasn't her fucking mom. It wasn't her client. It's my mom. It's my story to tell. So fuck it.
Yeah.
I'm like, she'll be all right. That's what I told him.
I take offense because I deal with that every day, and it's like, well, then you should have more sense of humor than anybody. But the ER doctors and all those guys in the ER, like they have the craziest,
darkest humor.
The darkest humor. Yeah.
So I'm like, it's fine.
I had a buddy who his name was Josh and he Vigil, and he used to he tried to do stand up for a little bit, and he dabbles in and out. but he was a ER nurse, and he was like, dude, it's some fucked up shit, bro. We laugh at the worst fucking shit.
I wish he was an ER nurse. Okay.
Fucking
Fucking so stupid. Fucking boo! I'm bombing on this.
I was like, we'll edit.
Yeah. ER.
No, and then what was it? I was gonna say too. What was it? I was gonna bring something up. Well, you did the dad jokes, so that's kind of like
for all deaf.
Yeah. But there was something else too I wanted to talk about. That you do or that you did.
Game show?
Man, fuck. Well, you did a game show?
Yeah, I worked on a game show for like 2 years in LA. Funny You Should Ask. That's the name of the game show, was Funny You Should Ask. And we used to joke that it's where comedy goes to die because we were in this little room, like a writer's room, but it was just like, it was about the size of this. And we had like 4 desks in there. And then you had different pods where there was different writers, and Greg Wilson sat next to me. And here's what the problem is. It's a game show, like it's kind of like tic-tac-toe or tic-tac-toe. What was it called?
It was a TV show, like
Hollywood Squares. Hollywood Squares.
Yeah, there we go.
It's like Hollywood Squares, but without the tic-tac-toe part. So what we had to do is we had to find unless it was a bullshit fact, but we would have to find an interesting fact, verify that it was true, and then write a joke for it. Or you make one up and then you don't have to verify anything, obviously, right? But here's what the problem is. So you had to do, like, let's say 15 a day. And then you would send those off to the team lead or the writing lead. And then that person would be like, yeah, approved, or nah, this won't work. And then it goes to your executive producer, and every joke goes through him, and he loves puns. So we would just start writing puns because we knew he loved them. But then the final person was Byron Allen, who Byron Allen hated puns. So you're like, well, how the fuck do I even get to Byron Allen? And then it just, like, I'll give you an example. One of the jokes, there was a joke I wrote that I think Bill Engvall, it was Bill Engvall. Bill Engvall was delivering the joke because they have all these big names. Not that necessarily Bill Engvall's the biggest name, but bigger than me. So, and he stopped and said that this joke was genius. Keep that in mind. It's not. But the joke I wrote was, which country leads the world in electric cars? And the joke answer was, mad at gas cars. Fucking boo. But Bill Engvall was like, this is genius. And all the other writers are looking at me. I go, it's just a dumb fucking joke. It's not genius. Dude. That was that one joke of the week for the writing. I'm like, what? And but there was times where me and Gray, we would write something and I would be like, hey man, can you, is this even funny anymore? We literally were just like, my brain is fried writing these fucking horrible jokes. I wrote one that was true or false. Dr. Dre recently released a vegan cookbook. And the answer was, yeah, it's called Beats by Dre. It's so fucking bad, dude. But yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what should have happened at every joke delivery. But yeah, I wrote on that thing for like a year and a half or 2 years. And but it wasn't that you said.
No, because the dad jokes, because you did the pun, and I was like, hey, that's right, you used to write all those dad jokes. So but that threw me off from the other thought that I was having. So I was like, fucking hell, because I got all ADD'd out. Oh, and then also too, like that was so you in comedy, it's crazy because you got to be a part of multiple scenes. That's another thing too, because your background is crazy, and then on top of that, you got into scenes like really when they were all happening. Like
it's funny. So I started in Boston, and I would say at the time, it definitely wasn't the best time ever for stand-up in Boston. I don't think it was that good of a scene at that time when I started in 2008.
Well, you came in back in 2008, or you started at 2008?
I started 2008.
That's so crazy. So I was, okay. So
8/28/08.
8/28?
Yeah, August 28th, 2008. And I found.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I'll fucking pull it up. Yeah, I came back. August. It's like a Thursday or like a Tuesday.
And you know what's crazy is Joe Rogan told me he would never remember this. I was touring with Doug Benson, and we were in a city where Joe Rogan was performing and doing UFC, and so we met up with him. But somehow it came up when I started, and then Joe, I think he started like the same date, but like 10 or maybe 15, 20 years before.
Crazy. And I'm with Doug this week.
Are you?
Yeah, at the
where at?
Yeah, Jimmy Kimmel's.
Oh,
you should come
shit.
through.
I will. I'm in town. I will definitely come
Friday
by.
and Saturday.
Holy shit, that's great.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Doug forever. That'll be dope. Yeah, so I started in Boston, and I don't think the scene for Boston at that time was very good at the time. I think it's better now. And then obviously, like, in the 80s, and when Dane Cook and Burr and all them were coming up, it was fucking great. But I don't think it was that strong when I started, just my personal opinion. Then I moved to Seattle, and Seattle scene was good, really good then. I think the Seattle scene has fallen off since then. Tacoma's really strong, I think, now.
Oh.
I think Tacoma's really good. You saw all the shit with the...
I seen it yesterday for the first time. Did not see that. I didn't know.
I just did that place like fucking maybe, I think in December.
What is it?
A comedy bar on Capitol Hill in Seattle.
Okay, so because I remember there's a comedy bar in Chicago. And are they the same?
No, it was like for the longest, because it's like it says comedy/bar, and so the longest I think their domain was comedy/bar.
You were in Seattle, so weren't you the
House MC Parlor Live? No, I don't really like to talk about it, except every conversation. Yeah,
it's an inside joke, me and Jay.
Yeah, so I moved from Boston to Seattle, and the scene was really good. They had the Comedy Underground. They had the Parlor Live eventually opened up. They had Giggles and Laughs. It's funny, when I first moved to Seattle, I went to Giggles open mic, and I forget the guy's name that run it. The people that did Giggles loved him, but I was like, fuck. I think his name is Terry something. He was a racist fuck. But
that's right. I met you in Seattle.
Yeah, and so I went there. I just moved there, and I was like, oh yeah, like people are signing up, and I was like, yeah, I just moved here. I was going to sign up for the mic, and he goes, did you bring anyone? I was like, no, I just moved here. And he goes, yeah, well, I probably won't put you up. And I go, well, I probably won't stay then. So I just fucking left. I was like, fuck that place. And excuse me. So I was there in Seattle for a while. Scene was good. Then I moved to LA, and the scene, I mean, it's probably I think the scene's probably bad now because so many big names, or maybe it's better because you have young people are getting more opportunities. I don't know. Or young comics, I should say. Young people. Jesus, how old do I sound? These young kids.
He's no whippersnapper.
Yeah. But I was in Seattle then, I was California, LA for a while. And then during quarantine, I was in Phoenix in quarantine during that. And I kind of like was pretty good in the Phoenix scene because I did so much shit out there. And then moved to Vegas during the pandemic. And I remember our buddy Butch Bradley, shout out to Butch, amazing comic, great comic. He told me, so I moved here 3 years ago, and I'd say probably 5 years ago, I remember Butch was saying, I think Vegas is going to be the next big comedy boom. Mm-hmm. And I was like, all right. And then there's so much work here.
Oh, so much fun too. It was funny when I first met. The very first time I met Butch was at the Laugh Factory at the Trop, and he wasn't performing. I was performing. I can't remember who I was with, and he was in the green room, and I always heard about Butch. I've always heard that this guy's a fucking great comic and this and that, and I was like, oh, and he's such a good dude and this and that, and then so I get in there and we start talking, we're hanging out, and we're having a good time, we're having a good conversation, and he goes, yeah, man, yeah, he goes, and I like you, man, but I don't know yet because I haven't seen you on stage, so we could be cool right now, but just let you know.
Hilarious.
Yeah,
dude. You know what's funny is my first interaction with Butch, and maybe it was the Boston thing, I don't know, but I was coming out of LA Comedy Club. I don't think I would perform there. I think I went to hang out or something. And I think I'd performed there before. I don't know. Maybe I hadn't ever performed there. But I'm coming out, and Butch is coming in, and this is when it was on the second floor, and it was the little club. And somebody introduced us. He's like, "Oh, good to meet you." He's like, "Where are you from?" I was like, "Oh, I started in Boston, then Seattle, blah blah blah." And he's like, "Oh, you from Boston?" He's like, "I go, yeah." He goes, "You want to do a guest spot?" I was like, really? He goes, yeah. I go, yeah. So I always say I will never. I'll always speak my love of Butch because he'd never even see me put me up. That's also funny enough. Doug Benson, my first meeting of Doug Benson. This is before I was the house MC at Parlor, but I was actually going to move back to Boston. I'd been in Seattle, I think, a couple of years, and I was like, fuck it, I'm going to move back to Boston. And I had told Ruben and told other people.
Oh, Ruben, I remember Ruben.
Fuck. And
he says, I can't get you the rest.
That's how Ruben sounds. Fucking. Oh God. Anyways, so I was going to be leaving, so Ruben was giving me a guest spot, as a going away before I left, and Doug was the headliner. And I get there that Friday or Thursday, and somebody else is there they thought they were doing a guest spot. And I go, well, he can do it because I'm going to do mine. I'll do another one tomorrow. So he can do it tonight. I'll do tomorrow. And they were like, okay. And then Doug's like, well, you can just hang out in the green room if you want still. And I was like, okay, cool. So then when the show got done, again, I haven't performed. When the show is done, Ruben asked me to kind of escort Doug over to the hotel. So I was like, all right, cool. So I walk him over there. And there's some other people that want to smoke with Doug. So he's like, sure, come on. Yeah. So we get all the way to his floor, and he gets off, and I go, Doug, you want me to come with you or you want me to take off? He goes, yeah, go ahead, come on in. So I come in there, and I'm just sitting in there. They're smoking. At the time, I had never smoked weed or whatever. I'm just hanging out. And then he goes, oh, so you're moving back to Boston? I go, yeah. He goes, me and Graham are going to be at the Wilbur, which is the theater there in Boston in a month. And he was like, you want to open for us? And I was like,
what? I
was like, sure. And I started laughing. He goes, what's so funny? I go, you haven't even seen me do stand-up. I could be fucking awful. He goes, oh, you were pretty funny in the green room. So I was like, all right.
What was the one time when you said, I remember you were telling me that you brought someone to hang out with you and Doug.
Fucking Phil Fox.
Phil Fox. That's it. That's who
that was. Was that same weekend? I think it was that same weekend. I had never smoked weed before. And so I told Doug, I was like, hey, by the end of the weekend, I want to smoke weed with you. He's like, really? I go, yeah. I go, if you're going to do martial arts, Bruce Lee would be the man, probably. And I go, if you're going to smoke weed, who better than Doug Benson? He's like, all right. So Phil, our buddy Phil, who is a human train wreck. He is Murphy's Law, and he always means well, but he can be awkward but I always say he's not a loser, but he's like the lovable loser, right? Mm. Everybody loves him, and what can go wrong will with Phil. So I asked Phil to designate a drive because I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to react to weed, right? So Phil comes and hangs out, and the first interaction he has with fucking Doug, he thinks it'd be funny to go up to Doug. He's got a black hoodie on, and it's just all black. There's no print on it. It's just a black basic hoodie. And he hands fucking Doug a black Sharpie and goes, hey, would you autograph my hoodie? And Doug just goes, yeah. And Doug goes, it's black. He goes, yeah, I know. Would you sign it? He's like, all right. So then when we're going up to smoke, Doug's like, you still want to smoke? I go, yeah. And he goes, okay, we'll go to the room. And he's like, and I go, is it cool if he's my designated driver? And he looks at him after having this interaction of him wanting him to sign his black hoodie. And he goes, yeah, just tell him don't be weird. And I was like, all right. So now we're up there and we're smoking. And I think there was a TV show or something where Rob Hubel was on the TV, and Doug's friends with him, and a few people are friends with him that were in the room. I think Justin was with us, Justin Ruppel. Shout out to Justin. Yeah. And so they're talking about Rob, if as we're sitting here and this TV's here, it's like we're all sitting around and we're looking at the TV and Rob Hubel's on it. And Doug and I think his feature are talking about Rob, and they're telling stories about their friend Rob, right? Mm-hmm. It makes sense. I can, even as I'm high, I can feel, I can feel Phil next to me, and I can feel his energy just like, oh, I gotta jump in. So when they finish talking about this person they know, Phil jumps in with some story. I don't remember what the story, it has something to do with Rob Hubel, but again, even high, as he's telling this story, because now it's going on like minutes. It's taking a while. Even then, I'm in my head, I'm like, I hope this has a fucking good ending because this is a lot of buildup, and it does not. He's going for like 5 minutes. And it's like blah blah blah. So yeah, and that's the end of the story. It's dead silent. Doug looks around the room and just goes, well, that ruined the evening. Everyone's got to go. Goodbye. So, and then we literally all got up and fucking left. And then the rest of the day, Phil's like, you think Doug hates me? I was like, man, Doug will never think about you ever again. Yeah. Fucking Phil.
We're gonna probably wrap up really quick, but I was gonna say this before we go. This just one last anecdote or story because you mentioned Justin Ruppel.
Yes.
And so George, me and Jay love flicks. We love watching movies.
Oh God, I know what you're gonna
say. we love watching. So Justin Ruppel, it's funny because when you're on the road, especially when you're up and coming and whatnot, like you do all these clubs, and then you see, you'll see comics that come before you or after you in the posters or in the dates and stuff like that. And Justin was one of those cats that I always seen him and he always seen me, but we never met each other. Yeah. We knew of each other. So
he was the original host at the Parlor Live.
Oh yeah. So when me and Jay lived in the same apartment complex, I would go over his crib and we'd watch flicks and because we watch anything and everything, and like I was saying earlier, my girlfriend will figure it out and blurt it out, and but I don't like that. Or she'll get on her phone and start researching the movie as we're watching the movie.
Angel does that shit. Looks up the IMDb. I'm like, do it out. She's like, I'm multitasking. I'm like, fuck, you're multitasking.
Yeah, like we'll watch a true story or something that's inspired by it. And she was like, did you know they went to jail? They finally caught them. I'm like, why would you fucking tell me the end? I'll murder you.
That would be divorce.
Yeah, dude. And but it was so funny because we're watching a movie that Jay's who was it? It was your friend that made it or some shit like that, right?
Maybe. Was it that martial art one?
Yeah.
Oh, Paper Tigers. Yeah.
Paper Tigers. Yeah.
Bao Tran, my buddy, old MMA friend.
Yeah, and it was so funny because I'm watching the movie and I'm chilling and I'm very polite. I'm being like whatever. I'm not.
You're just watching the movie.
I'm just watching.
You're probably not doing anything. You're zoned out. We're enjoying the movie.
Yeah, and then what happened, Jay? Because Justin keeps talking,
dude. He there was like an actor in the movie that he was like, I don't know if this is exactly what Justin was saying. I love Justin. And Justin's like the nicest guy.
He's so nice.
He's a fucking sweetheart of a guy. And he sees an actor and it's something to the effect of he's like, oh, this actor, dude, he was in this other movie. And then the director of that movie, and he starts going on this long fucking story. And do you want to say what I said?
No. But I was gonna say the two and the thing that makes it like I'm just getting to know Justin, and we're like, and I'm like, dude,
I know what you're talking about.
He's cool. This guy's cool, and you meet the other comic, and you're like, oh, this guy, fuck this guy. But I was like, oh, this is gonna be a genuine friend. This guy is awesome, and we're clicking, but him and Jay have had a relationship prior to.
I just realized that I fucking just took fire to everybody because everybody caught something. So I go, as Justin's in the middle of the story, I just go, hey, yeah, so like me and Carlos kind of have this thing where we don't talk. I'm just realizing right now that I fucking put the turd in everybody's. I was a shit to everybody. And instead of being like, hey, man, can you tell us afterwards? Because I get distracted. I just go, hey, me and Carlos and Carlos just goes, what the fuck, man? He just caught us straight. He's like, I'm just watching them. Don't fucking throw me in this shit.
I was like, don't fucking.
Even though it's true.
Even though it was true, yeah. I didn't want to fucking be mean to Justin but I was like, yeah, because one thing he was saying, I remember he was like, you gotta. He was like, and by the way, Justin's great, awesome. So check this out, George, really quick. He does impressions. You've probably seen him on TikTok. He'll do impressions of The Rock, and he teaches people how to do impressions. He did an impression of Liam Neeson one time for someone, and they called them. They said he was
a director,
a director of a movie. He was like, "Hey, I got this guy on here. I'm gonna talk to him," and he calls up Liam Neeson and makes him do his impression. And then he gets cast in Liam Neeson movies. Got
to move you. It is the Hollywood story.
Yeah, and he also does the voiceovers. So if Liam Neeson can't do his lines, he comes in and does them. It's a fucking crazy story. But
and Oh, sorry. What were you saying, George?
No, you're just saying that's very impressive.
And he's I mean, I'm not like outing him or anything because his last name is Ruppel and he's in a thruple.
Yeah.
He's married and I think he might be married to both of them now, but I know they've been together all three of them for like 3 years. And so one of the things he was saying, because he almost like apologized. I was such an asshole, but he was like, he goes, oh, sorry, I live with 2 women, so I hardly ever get to talk. So he's like, I'm just taking the chance. And I was like, cool, save it till after the movie. I love you, Justin. Shout out to Justin.
Love you, Justin. You might recognize him because he's on America's Got Talent, right?
Yeah, he was on AGT.
Yeah.
And he won he made that impressionist show with Dana Carvey.
Oh, okay.
I think he won it. Yeah. Justin's great.
Right on.
Well, he just talks during movies.
Well, I guess that's where we're gonna end it at. Fucking shitting on Justin. Thanks.
No, Justin's the best. I love Justin.
Thanks for coming out, man. Thanks
for having me.
For joining up. All right.
And this has been my life in rambles. Here's where the theme music comes in. My life's in rambles.
And we're gonna clip that, and that's gonna be it for now.